Most people think getting older means slowing down. But what if you could actually feel more energized, more strong, and joyful as you age? Today, I'm here with Charles Water, who spent decades in karate and Chi Gong and now mentors people 55 and over to transform their energy, strength, and mindset in just 30 days. Charles, thanks for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I am totally excited.
I am totally excited too. So, to kick things off, I want to talk about ageless energy warriors, and I want to talk about why redefining aging is so important to you.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on. And why redefining aging is so important to me is that I'm a little bit older than you and your husband.
Lies. We every time we watched you, Charles, we're like, this guy, his energy is so good.
Well, I am grateful and appreciative that you guys are saying that. It really does touch my soul. I got to tell you, though, when I turned 70, my life, everything bad that could happen literally started to happen.
Yeah.
And then here I am, and I'm physically fit, I'm mentally fit, I've been training in martial arts and Chi Gong and life force, all these things, and I didn't I couldn't comprehend what would somebody do with the afflictions, and I'm healthy now, with the afflictions that I was going through if they didn't have the same resources that I did.
Yeah.
So for me as a teacher,
Mhm.
I want to be able to share it with the world.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so can you talk a little bit about how you used so a big part of your method is qigong. I guess maybe we should start with there. For those who don't know what qigong is, how would you explain it, Charles?
Qigong, Qigong is the Qi, Chi, Qi is pretty much a Chinese medicine type of practice that's practiced by millions of people around the world. And then there's Kundalini, there's Prana, there's Baraka. George Lucas called it the Force.
Mhm.
Some kind of force of energy
Mhm.
out there that when we're able to teach our body how to be a conduit for this energy, we get to tap into the resources of it. And to take it one step further, Aristotle, who I never met, but he's one of my mentors because I love reading about him and his philosophy. He and his compatriots didn't know what the energy was that stopped the heavenly bodies from
Mhm.
bouncing into each other.
Mhm.
So they called it aether,
Mhm.
Aether. We know it as magnetic force
Mhm.
and gravity. So it's this type of energy
Mhm.
that Qigong represents. Now, one step further, Qi is the art of cultivating the
Mhm.
Qigong, the Qi. Qigong is my style of helping potential future clients connect with this energy for health and happiness.
Okay, that beautiful. Yeah, I mentioned this in your Facebook group, and I'll link all of Charles's information below if you guys want to connect with him or check out his group or anything like that. But I mentioned this in your Facebook group. You know, my husband Peter, he watches your videos too, and he'll just tell me he's like, oh yeah, you can tell Charles is tapped into some type of energy the way that he moves. You know, like my husband, he's 39, and he's like he Charles moves in a way that is so different than how I move in such great health. And so to go a little bit further, you know, you're using qigong to help adults, to help people who are going through challenges with their health. Like, can you elaborate a little bit more on what can this do for somebody? Like, what have you seen? How has it helped your health? Like, if somebody's struggling with something, what can qigong do? Because I think sometimes we see qigong and we're like, "Okay, but, like, how is this directly connected to, you know, lack of mobility, lack of confidence, fear of falling?" What's the relationship there?
It's a great question. Why do people struggle with connecting with this? Because people like me make it look so easy.
Yes.
I've been doing it for decades and decades and decades. And for me, what I want to do, I want to capsulate it
Yes.
and make it easy in a 30-day session,
Yes.
people connected. So
Okay.
The biggest way this energy flow helps people is this. It's like New Year's resolutions. Everybody creates New Year's resolutions, and, it's 2 weeks into it, 80%, 85% people give up because they're not getting quick enough results.
Mhm,
It's too hard. So,
mhm,
what people have everybody has intentions. Everybody wants to go through life feeling good. Everybody wants to go through life changing their focus and then focusing on the happiness and the joy and love and gratitude of life. But what do we do when life smacks us between the eyes? What is going to be our next step? And
mhm,
that's where Qigong comes in. And my system, and it's proven, I've done it with myself, done it with numerous clients.
yeah,
Let's say you're Sarah. There you go. Sarah, I just met Sarah, and Sarah wants to do A, B, and C. And all of a sudden she gets to A, she goes, forget it. I'm just frigging giving up. It's just too hard. So, and I say, well, Sarah, what you're doing is you're focusing on fear. So all I want you to do is focus on courage. Oh yeah, that sounds really great. But I'm not going to focus on fear. I'm going to focus on courage.
yeah,
Just powering through it. What my system does is doesn't dissipate fear. It gets you to focus on the courage that
mhm,
you have that lies at your source within.
mm,
It doesn't dissipate doubt.
mhm,
It gets you to focus on the confidence that
mhm,
lies at your source within. And that's how we take people from where they are now,
mhm.
where they deserve to go.
Mhm. I love that, I love that. Yeah, so Freedom One-on-One, it's Chi Gong, it's this mindset work because a lot of people who are, um, you know, experiencing difficulties with life, aging, taking care of sick parents, all of the things that come with age, right? Um, are struggling with finding that joy, and I feel like you're such a source of joy and light. But then there's also the movement component, right? And so I know a lot of your content, I just watched a video of yours and it was talking about physical therapy, right? And so I think there's a lot of surgeries happening in this age range, right? And so I guess I'm curious, Charles, like, can you talk a little bit about the movement aspect of Freedom One-on-One, of how you work with people? Like, is this something that you have to be in really good shape to do? Like, what does that look like?
Well, Sarah, that is a great question. For one-on-one, you don't need special clothes. You don't need special shoes. You don't need special mats. You don't need a special place to go to. What you need is a desire to
Mhm.
move from where you are to where you want to go. And you don't have to be in physical shape.
Okay.
The challenge that I have with all these chi exercises out there,
Yeah.
it's a master standing out there. Hi, I'm a master. I'm going to teach you this only 122 moves. So that, and all of a sudden somebody's going, but I want to get better right away. What a,
Yeah.
it just, my brain explodes.
Yeah.
We have 3 to 6 simple movements, and they're called ancient martial arts superhero power poses. You don't have to stand on one leg, don't have to do all these fancy things, but all you do is move your body in what we call stance. And Amy Cuddy, who's great, she wrote a book on superhero power poses. And basically, when you do a stance and you picture somebody that has confidence, or somebody that's determined, or somebody that's courageous, or,
Mhm.
or, or somebody that is incredibly balanced
Mhm.
in life, that you take on those characteristics.
Yeah.
So for me, the movements have to be easy to learn,
Mhm.
easy to teach. That's where I come in, and easy to implement. And
Mhm.
as a matter of fact, I've adjusted these 3 to 6 motions to people that have a hard time standing up without the aid of a walker, but they can do it from a chair as well.
Yeah.
So it's important to be flexible
Yeah.
and to let people know that you don't have to be a martial arts superstar. You don't have to be a martial art black belt, because
Mhm.
when you turn a certain age in your life,
Yeah.
you need to quit comparing where you are now
Mm.
to a younger version
Mhm.
of yourself,
Mhm.
and accept who you are now and connect with the resources that are gonna get you to the next level.
Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful, Charles. I can clearly tell that you're passionate about this. Like, I know at the beginning you mentioned, when you hit 70, things started shifting, changing, right? And you were able to use Qigong as your lifeline, as your resource. Is there any other reason why you're so passionate about sharing this with people?
Yes, that's a great question. Why am I so passionate about sharing this with people? First of all, I'm always gonna be the most happiest and positive person in the room, and that's just the way I live my life. I grew up in a dysfunctional family, and I grew up in a family where my parents were screaming and yelling at each other constantly. And I guess when I was younger, this is why I wanted to grow up to be Superman.
Yeah.
Look up at the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman, because Superman was invulnerable to everything except kryptonite.
Yes.
My parents were kryptonite. So it's like I had to go into my bedroom and close the lead line door so they couldn't bother me. So the way I dealt with this dysfunction was to find joy in everything that I was doing.
Yeah.
I am going to continue doing this. And basically, it's kept me younger. And I think said what Peter said about me moving around. I'll
Yeah.
tell you, no matter how much you work out, if you're miserable at doing it, you're not going to get the benefits. So,
Yeah.
for me, to answer your question, that's why I'm always going through life with joy because I know that whatever I went through my dysfunctional household, it served a purpose.
Yes.
And it got me to this point in my life. And instead of continuing to look at my past as a psychic wound that was going to determine the rest of the way I was going to live my life.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. And, if you're watching this, I get to spend time with Charles every week, every other week, and he definitely brightens up my day. Like, honestly, just how you show up, your energy. I mean, again, me and Peter, we always say, Charles Water, he's goals, if we can show up like him, goals. So yeah, really, really beautiful. Okay, freedom one-on-one. I wanna know a little bit more about that. If somebody's thinking, "Okay, this sounds really good. I think I could incorporate this. I've been dealing with some hip pain. I haven't been as mobile. I haven't been as active as I'd like. I wanna redefine what aging means to me. I want my freedom. I wanna be happy like Charles." Tell us a little bit about it so people can do it at home with you via Zoom. You said no fancy equipment, short sessions. Tell us a little bit more that would be helpful for people who are considering this.
Well, if you wanted to find out more information, the
Yep.
first thing I would do is set up a 20-minute session with you.
Okay.
Hey, more than 20 minutes, we're gonna end up having talk about kids and this and that. Let's go out to dinner. So 20 minutes is tops. So basically, I wanna know not what your all your goals are. What is one specific goal that you wanna work on?
Okay.
And let's say, Sarah, let's say not hip pain. Let's say you wanna lose weight.
Okay.
Well, that's not an empowering goal.
Mm.
So, what you wanna lose weight, how much weight do you wanna lose, and how are you going to feel when
Mhm.
you reach that goal?
Yeah.
Then we set up an action plan.
Okay.
Then we continue to monitor the situation to make sure that that your actions are moving you towards success.
Mhm.
And if they are, you continue doing that. And if they're not moving you towards success, you basically have to redo your goals.
Mhm.
You have to change your pattern.
Mhm.
And then so I'm going to be your coach helping you do that.
Cool.
Point is that again, I'll say it again like I did before, you're gonna get stuck somewhere along the 30 days.
Yeah.
And that's where Qigong comes in.
Yeah.
Because Sarah, this has been an empowering philosophy of my life. Our minds want something.
Mhm.
Our ego tells us how to get it.
Mhm.
So just those two things. Let's say your mind, you say to yourself, "Oh, I am so miserable."
Mm.
Well, your ego is gonna reinforce you being miserable.
Yes.
But if your mind wants to be happy, then your ego
Mhm.
is gonna help you reinforce your happiness. But the third part of the equation,
Mhm.
the mind wants something the ego tells you how to do it, but the universe knows.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
daily dose and Qigong and
Mhm.
freedom one-on-one,
Mm.
Since the universe has the answers, our vast, beautiful universe has all the answers.
Yeah.
Qigong, my Qigong system will open up a lifeline
Yeah.
to listening to the messages from the universe. And above all, it's important to give thanks to receiving those messages.
Yeah.
This is why I'll be the first one to brag about it. Freedom 101 is a friggin' home run.
Yeah.
Because I get so I don't want to say tired or frustrated. My heart goes out to people that want to accomplish something and they're getting bombarded by useless BS.
Yes.
And they're tying into it and then they're disappointed. They go, oh God, they did it to me again.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I've been in business since I run my martial arts studio since 1981.
Okay.
And oh, 1986, I started that's something else. I started thinking of something else. 1986, and we've been in business over 40 years. And we're in business for a reason. What it's not about that we're the greatest people out there, is that we follow through on our promises. It makes me crazy if I say to Sarah, you're going to get this result.
Mm.
Sarah doesn't get the result. That makes me crazy. And
Yeah.
I'm going to work overtime to ensure, along with Sarah,
Yeah.
she's gonna achieve these goals. And one more thing on that,
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I am not gonna bring on any clients. They're not ready to play full out.
Yeah.
And I'm telling so many people get so excited about doing something, then 2 days later, no, 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 no. If you're gonna drop out 2 days later, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
We the only thing I guarantee, like I said before, I'm gonna be the happiest person in the room. I'm gonna be the most positive person in the room. But if you and future clients are willing to move your ego off to the side and realize that you have the life of your dreams within your grasp, then those are the people that I'm looking for.
Yeah. No, and I love that, Charles. I think, to me, what you just said is qigong, it kind of feels like a little bit of a a cheat sheet, a secret in terms of reaching your goals because I think about, a lot of people who have tried before, like we talked about physical therapy, exercise programs, weight loss programs, mobility programs, and haven't been able to follow through, haven't been able to get the results, right? But if they're doing an exercise program, if they're doing physical therapy and they have a bad day and their knee isn't getting better and they're not feeling better, and then they say, "Oh, screw it. I don't think this works. Like, I don't want to go back." Right? I feel like if they were to include the Qigong, it could help them move through the hardships, the discomfort, the struggles that are gonna come up, like you said, in life, like, it's gonna throw us curveballs no matter, how happy or positive you are.
Move the mental blockages off to the side.
It's powerful.
I'm not saying that qigong should replace physical therapy. No, no, that's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Needs to be a balance of Western healing methodologies. And I'm introducing these Eastern healing methodologies, but the Eastern healing methodologies are not those 122 movement courses.
Yeah.
Simple, to the point, and you can implement it immediately. And when you lose your flow,
Yeah.
fist it.
Yeah.
Get right back in your positive path and your positive moment.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so I guess, like, before we wrap up, I'm curious if you have a story, could be personal, could be a client, something that kind of showcases what's possible when somebody commits and they say, "Yeah, I'll go in for 30 days. I'll do qigong, I'll do this work." I mean, and maybe, the story's less than, maybe it's from 1 session or but does anything come to mind, something that you could share that really kind of paints the picture and encourages people, "Hey, this is what's possible if you do say yes to this work."
Lori,
Lori, okay.
Lori, oh yeah. Lori, her children were clients years ago, made it to black belt, and we lost touch. I think they moved away. But Lori, before AI, before AI, I love to write, but I write the way I speak. and I'm disjointed, I'm all over the place, so I would send all my material to Lori, and she would polish it, and I'd read it and I go, "Boy, I really sound good." So she was so great, but Lori, who is healthy now, had a blood cancer disorder. Horrible, terrible. She would be going in for infusions every other week. Her husband dumped her, divorced her, left her with the kids, no money. It was a horrible situation. And this is one of the happiest people I've ever met, one of the most beautiful souls I ever met. So we started doing daily dose together. And guess what? It didn't make the blood disorder go away. Help manage it. You see, because the energy can't be created or destroyed. It can be transformed.
Mhm.
And all we did with Lori was transform her consciousness
Mhm.
and connect with her source within, that when she was ailing and going through this dramatic stuff, she would start focusing on the possibilities
Mhm.
as
Mhm.
opposed to focusing on the history.
Mhm.
Lord, oh
And
yeah.
why is that so powerful to health? Because I think sometimes when people are going through something like Lori was going through, I'm so glad that, if Lori ever sees this, that she's in good health now. But I think sometimes people, you know, underestimate the power of what you're talking about, that shift in energy, that focusing on the possibilities, like, can you elaborate a little bit, Charles, on, like, if somebody's watching this and they're dealing with something like cancer, or anything else, a serious condition, like, they might be thinking, "Oh, I just need to fix this. I just need to take this medication. I just need to get through these treatments." Why would you say, "Hey, actually focusing on this is really important and really powerful?"
Well, my heart goes out to these people.
Yeah.
If anybody promises they can fix it, this is what I have a hard time with
Yeah.
Western medical community.
Yep.
That they, yes, get into the hospital, go this and do this medication and do that. And I get that. It makes me friggin' crazy.
Yeah.
But but the point is that when we need to open ourselves up to possibilities, that we are tired of living life this way. What are we gonna do to get to where we wanna go? And it does. Qi Gong, hey, anybody says Qi Gong, oh yeah, snap their fingers, make it go away, we'll take care of it. The it doesn't. What it does, it enables you. I'm repeating myself again.
It's good, though. We need to hear the same things for it to really click, you know?
Person to start. Okay, let's take two camps.
Uh-huh.
Here we have the negative collective of energy,
Yes.
and we could call U.S. Congress there, the whatever. And I don't talk politics. That's all politics I'm going to get into. Negative collective, positive collective.
Okay.
We need to have a path to ensure that as we age, we want to be able to connect with the energy from the positive collective.
Yes.
And there is a positive collective of souls out there. You
Yes.
are part of the positive collective. People
Thank you.
are part of the positive collective. My wife Cheryl's in the kitchen waving at me, is in the positive collective.
Yes.
And so what I'm saying, when a soul is going through traumatic pain, you're not alone.
Yeah.
And grab onto something that's not going to get you out of pain, but it's going to transform your focus. And you need to have, when you're in pain, you
Mhm.
need to have a great medical team. You need to have the best medical team out there. I know somebody that has subdural hematoma and had brain surgery. And I said, "How was it?" No, they were fine. I said, "Well, how was the surgeon?" They said, "Oh, great." I s sh And she said, "But he had no personality." So I said, "Well, do you wanna go out to dinner with him, or do you want him to be brilliant?" You want him to be brilliant. And so grab a hold of brilliant people in medical technology. I'm not saying I'm brilliant when it comes to Eastern healing methodologies, but I've been doing this a long time.
Yeah, Charles is a modest guy, so he won't say it, but I will say I think, Charles, you kind of have the best of both worlds, the brilliant and the good personality. Cheryl definitely knew what she was doing.
Well, Carol,
Ah, so good. Okay, that no,
one
this
one more
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, of course.
My my first master,
Mhm.
he knew about Chi Gong. And when you're a black belt, you can't help feeling about connecting with energy. It's like the mom, God forbid, her child is stuck under a car. All of a sudden, the mom has the strength to lift the car. Where does this come from? Not just 'cause she's a crazy mom afraid of her child. There's some kind of force out
Yes.
there. So I asked my instructor, teach me about this life force. He goes, no, figure it out yourself. Well, I did.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
worst secret in the world is the secret that you keep to yourself. And
Mhm.
I am ready and willing to share it, just not with my community,
Yeah.
not with just one freedom one on one. I'm
Yeah.
ready to share it with the world.
Yes, beautiful. Okay, perfect. Okay, so if if you're watching this and you're interested, you're like, "Okay, I wanna check this out." Charles mentioned he offers these 20-minute free calls. We will put the link below this video. You can reach out, you can comment, he will see them. If you want to do this 30-day transformation or just talk and hear what that could look like for you in the situation you're in, I will leave all of the info below. Charles, this was wonderful. I always love spending time with you. Is there anything that you wanna share with anybody before we go?
Hold on for a second.
Yeah, of course.
Don't go away.
We're not going anywhere.
Our bodies do not manufacture chi. So, same way your phone batteries are drained throughout the day, the more that you use it, our chi is drained throughout the day. So we need to start our day off on the right foot. We need to start our day off in gratitude. We need to start our day off as a teaching our bodies how to be a conduit for this universal chi energy. And then once our batteries are full of chi, when knocks us off our success path, we get back in the moment by a clench of a fist. And Sarah, repeat after me, say these three words.
Okay.
I got this.
I got this.
That's my message.
I got this. Awesome. Thank you, Charles. This was great.